Welcome to the bold analysis. Gideon Moi has finally spoken about the finance bill. And in a very lengthy tweet that has just been shared this morning, Gideon Moi has distanced himself with William Ruto's maiden inaugural budget policy statements. And in a very clear statement, I've really gotten what he said, that affordable housing is not one of the surest way of job creation. Here's a precise and clear message to the president. But then what has attracted my attention is the fact that immediately Ruto came into power, they were among the leaders that was seen to have changed their position and was leaning. Remember, he was given some deal on some geothermal deal, I think with link to the UK company. And also Standard, being that it was struggling financially, they had to tone down on their relationship with the government of the day. And they seems to be getting some good lifting in terms of government advertising. But the son of the second president is coming out clearly to widen the gap with William Ruto. What is the change? What is behind this U-turn? He has spoken in that tweet with making some four declarations in it. The first one, Gideon Moi is telling William Ruto that he needs to bolster the independence of parliament so that parliament does not lose its value, because it is the house that acts as an interface between the people and the executive. And this has come at the right time. What the first passage of finance bill in full glare of disregarding the people's voices means is that our parliament lost its value and its core responsibility to fight for Wanjiku. I think it has acted as a rubber stamp of the executive, whether there is personal fortune in it, but of course it is very clear of what is happening. And Gideon Moi has said that Parliament needs to assert its independence. As the Finance Bill 2023 awaits ascension into law, the public discourse surrounding it has shed light on Parliament's fundamental significance as the interface between the people and their aspirations, as well as the executive and its policies. This underscores the need to continuously bolster Parliament as an independent institution that must serve the interests of the people. That is number one. Number two, he has also said that there is need to seal avenues of corruption, seal the corruption loopholes to ensure that people's taxes are managed in the right way, and that is in the second paragraph. Moving forward, the government should prioritize establishing transparent and accountable systems to seal avenues of corruption to ensure taxes are utilized appropriately. This is very close to my heart. One of the reasons why there was a very strong opposition of the finance bill, and especially in one of the loudest clauses, that of the affordable housing, was because Kenyans were getting, the background was we are coming from somewhere where we have a legendary tabia of diverting or rather misappropriating the taxes, mismanagement of Kenyans' taxes. So that is why people asked questions. Are you going to build the houses? Are you not going to feast? And I remember saying here, and I still stick with it, the termites will come from the woodwork to feast on our taxes. That is the harsh reality. And you have said the third one, legislation to ensure that exclusively the 1.5% deduction on the housing levy goes to building of the houses exclusively. I think that will have to repeat here for quite some time. Now that that money is not a fund, it is being treated as a tax. It's not refundable. It's been treated as a tax. I can tell you it's going to the consolidated fund. The consolidated fund is running three accounts: expenditure, development, appropriation, expenditure, appropriation, development. Expenditure is the recurrent. So under the recurrent is where we have the trust and the loan account. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no clear cutout, or there is no clear legislation that the money that has been done, that has been collected, will go directly to that funding to fund the houses, because there is no management, clearly legal framework on management of the fund to ensure it goes for it has not been there. I can't agree more to what Gideon has said lastly. Eradicating slums needs an income-based solutions, a holistic approach that goes beyond affordable housing. That while we've said that affordable housing is one of the solutions to help us address even this matter of eradicating slums, but he's saying that the slum problem needs to be an income-based solution. And I remember analyzing here saying that the slum problem is not about availability of the house. The slum problem is about affordability of the house. And affordability of the house you cannot control it by the supply-demand curve. You control it by making sure that people have money in the pocket. And the best way to do that is to expand the labor market so that people can get jobs that are payable and they will be able to afford. This is in the last paragraph of that tweet is saying, this calls for proactive measures that incentives to the private sector to implement favorable tax regimes and creating a business-friendly environment by reducing bureaucratic obstacles will attract direct foreign investment, particularly in industries that foster manufacturing and value addition. Such strategic endeavors offer the surest path to job creation and economic prosperity. I can't agree more. Gideon Moi has come out and is differing sharply with William Ruto's policies. Now, Moi has been taking a backseat for quite some time, and even at the time Azimio La Umoja were doing the public protest, he was not in there. And of course, you will wonder, you will actually know what has been happening. There is a very clear interpretation of his tweet that he's widening the gap with the Ruto power. That is what that tweet shows you, that he's trying to widen that gap. And you may want to know why. That is what I want to explain in this podcast. And before we look at that, I want to take a second and remind you, on Sunday, on Sunday, we're going to do something different. Under the Bold Charity Network, we've always supported people in health distress, but we decided that we want to support an orphanage, just support their feeding program. So on Sunday, we are planning to do dry food donation to a Nemaland orphanage in Dagoretti here in Nairobi. And we are doing just the 2 days, that is Friday and Saturday, 50 bob challenge to support this project. And I know that we can touch the lives of those children there. It will be a very good, a very noble cause to support. And that's why I've shared there. Kindly, let's support. My number is there, 0710 62 78 89. And I want to say thank you very much for those who have turned up, for those who are supporting. I know I cannot respond to all. but I'm just so grateful. I have an admin under the Ball Charity Network. She's going to be more talking to our supporters and our donors. So kindly, if you receive a message from someone, don't mind, because we also want to engage. I know these things you can't do one person. So that's why we've decided to bring in someone to support. And it also goes in a long way of growing with others. So thank you very much for purposing to be part of this. We're targeting 50,000, and so far we are seeing, yes, I see, we are seeing how much? Yes, 16,000. So I believe that we still have 2 days, 16,840. Yes, 50 bob challenge, and I know that God will bless us. Now, I want us to get back to our analysis. Now, why is Gideon Moi widening the gap with the president? There are only these 3 reasons that I can tell you. The public distress on the finance bill is a very clear indication that Kenya Kwanza, if they don't tread careful, they may only have 5 years to serve. The public distress is cutting across political affiliation. I'm a very strong fan of the YouTubers that go to the streets and take people's voices. When you sample, there is a team from Naivasha and from Nakuru I really follow. It's called Real Stories, I think. The people in Nakuru are talking that this is not what we're expecting. I've been seeing clips from Nyeri, Murang'a, and other counties protest about what is happening. And even the Rift Valley themselves, there is a video clip of people saying, we are not going to listen because it's one of our own. And Gideon Moi has realized that the masses, the politics of 2027 will actually take its shape by the end of this year. That's what I can tell you. It will take its shape by the end of this year. And it's no longer possible to stand tall and defend William Ruto, because the more you take a defensive position of the regime, then you lose the people. And as a politician, sometimes you must serve the interest of the voters first. So one of the reasons why, and you will see the branches of the tree will start falling. It will start falling because the tree will no longer be in a position to bear. It will no longer be in a position to bear. So that is because of the public dissent. Number 2, there is that which is seen in this country as Kalenjination of the country. I once warned that if we are not careful, and if Ruto is not careful, we might end up with 47 against 1. Not 47, 42 against 1. And that's what many people are seeing. It's probably tried to sweeten us off the ground, to smoothen the rift, and also it's their time to eat. That aspect of it is their time to eat. There is a lot of complaints, and I remember KRA, there is something happened in KRA. There was some recruitment, and fellows who are supposed to have absorbed to take the positions were actually kicked out last minute, and politically right people were absorbed. So the Kalenjin nation is not something that when you fall within it, Gideon Moi is seeing a danger ahead, that in the fullness of time, it might turn against UDA, or it might turn against him. You will find out that politics is very different. You will see a situation where quite a chunk of the Kikuyu nation side with the opposition side to ahead of the 2027. Number 3, I think Rift Valley is no longer leaning. The rebellion in Rift Valley is already a signal, a red flag to any other politician there, that it might not be so much effective and you'll want to run with others. That is my take, and I also want to read your honest opinion. Why you think a leader like Gideon Moi, who was seen to be politically leaning to William Ruto, and he will not want to be maybe interfered with, is coming. I have been seeing lately, Moi's family has been in the limelight for some wrong reasons. Some 2 pieces of land they have lost, some 2 cases, even one involving a school. I think there was some in Mombasa and parts, I think in Nairobi. So suppression of Moi family could also mean that these fellows are not willing to be together. That's my take, and thank you very much for supporting the Bold and Bold Charity Network. Let's meet. For those who are in Nairobi, I'm really invite you for that event in the Goreti. Just get to my WhatsApp and I'll connect with the admin so that you will get directions to that place. And may God bless you.